Right, that you're convinced we're living in a time with more stupid people than ever. And
Yeah,
what
I might be one of them, but
no.
I still feel that way.
But what has convinced
I
you?
know Joe Biden is bad for me and my community. I'ma still vote for him, but I just ain't gonna endorse him. No, I'm gonna stand my ground. I ain't gonna endorse him. Nope, but I'm gonna vote for him though. Charlamagne Tha God, you need to get honest and you need to stop lying to yourself, to your public, to your community, to your listeners, to your followers, and whoever else. Because my God, man, you don't express any kinds of truths. Get honest about what you know. So here you are, a leader in the Black community. You've got about 5 million or so listeners or followers on your YouTube channel. You've been on the radio all these years, and you've got these people locked to every word that you say. But yet you're not even really leading them. If you had the gumption, if you had the balls, if you had the cojones, if you had the strength of a real man, you would come out here and say exactly what it is that you know. That you know that the Democrat Party is detrimental to the Black community. Just look at the history. Just look at the record. 1994 crime bill, Joe Biden. You know this because you've talked about it. You know what Joe Biden has done to the Black community, right? And you know Kamala Harris smoked weed, but then she locked up a whole bunch of people for smoking weed. She said that to you on your show. And then Joe Biden comes to you and he tells you just about how racist he is. He told you to your face, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't Black. And Kamala Harris come out and told you to go and sit down somewhere because you know who the president of the United States is. So all of these disrespects that they have done to you personally, well, guess what? They've done it to the Black people as well. But you come out here, champion for them. You're sitting here talking about that you know that they're no good, but you're not going to vote for them. Actually, what you said is you're going to vote even though you know that they're no good for you. You're going to come out and vote. You're not going to sit it out. You're not going to vote for Trump, who you know is better for the American people, better for Blacks. You're not going to sit it out. No, but you're going to come out here and vote even though you don't agree, you don't believe, you don't agree with what they're saying, what they're doing, what their policies are, their politics. You don't agree with it, but you're still going to vote for them. That is a simpleton, man. A simpleton. That's exactly who you are. Charlamagne Tha God. Hello, and welcome to The Conservative Poet. I'm Amania. Here on the channel, I talk everything politics. I do political reactions, political commentary, and I throw some humor in there because I deliver to you the things that's going on in the social spaces, in the culture, and I give it to you with some humor because it is so detrimental that we have to try to laugh through the crazy because it's so much. So if that is something that interests you, then you've come to the right place. I would ask for you to stay a while. You can subscribe if you'd like. You can communicate through comments. And you can also give the video a thumbs like if you like it. And that helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So our favorite simpleton man is making the rounds because he has poured all of his knowledge, all of the things that he knows in his brain into a book. So now he can not just spew the nonsense on his radio program, but he is literally having people read the nonsense in a book. And so, of course, he's going to make money off it. So, of course, he's got to make the rounds. And so he's dropped himself off in nowhere else but the land of the hens. Yes, The View. And so he is on The View, and there's a couple of things I want to touch base on in his interview with The View. Three topics that he talks about. One, he makes comments in reference to Joe Biden and how he's not going to endorse Joe Biden, but he's going to vote for Joe Biden. So that's one. And then he talks about how hip hop in the culture has evolved and all of this, and but yet become so dangerous, right? If he's being honest about what hip hop really has done to the culture, if you're really being honest, it's not that it's evolved into this great thing. It's evolved into a nightmare where people are literally playing it out in the streets, killing people left and right and daily. So yeah, so that's another point I want to make. And then they talk to him about Diddy and the situation that's happening with Diddy. Human trafficking. Beating up his woman. All of these things, right? And he talks about, well, let's not focus on the individual. Let's focus on the problem, which was domestic violence. So it's really the system that's really caused Diddy to do these things. It's not really Diddy the man. Like, yo, I'm pumped. Let's go.
Time with more stupid people than ever. And
Yeah,
what
I might be one of them, but
well, no.
I still feel that way.
But what has convinced you of that other than Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Just because I feel like, nobody cares about like facts anymore. Nobody cares about like actual data. Like everything is about opinions and narratives and your feelings. And like you have really smart people, like actually intelligent people that have doctor in their name and PhD. And even they're all about opinions and, narratives and their feelings as opposed to what the actual, facts are.
Seen that, heard that, good. So, actually, what he just said there makes some real sense because he's right. People are all about their feelings now. And I feel like I'm a woman, even though I'm a man. So, therefore, facts there doesn't matter, right? Because Charlamagne Tha God do believe that men could become women. And so, right then and there, Charlamagne, like, I'm trying to understand it. So facts matter, but when the fundamental fact of our identity as people, you seem to put that to the side because those facts there don't matter because men can become women and women can become men. And you make another point of, people with education, doctors and lawyers and big educated people. These big educated people, they themselves also believe in these things that they don't really deal with facts. And so it's interesting to hear you say these things because I remember recently you talked a little bit about Black history and so on. I think it was with Vivek Ramaswamy, who had to school you a few times on the history of things. But those facts don't matter. That data don't matter because again, it's like you're talking out of both ends of your, you're talking out of your mouth and you're talking out of your ass at the same time because again, facts do matter, but you're saying it do matter, but yet when you're presented with facts, it don't matter because it's the culture, right? I don't know.
Data shows. Well, since this book is all about having real conversations, let's get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get real. Now, you have a massive platform reaching millions of listeners, and you and I have talked about this before. You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020, but this time around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues,
so
not
why
individuals.
not endorse Biden, right? So he wants to focus on issues and not individuals. So if you're focusing on the issues, then I would have to say that Biden would not be the guy because look at how his record has spoken in reference to the issues that we have faced in this country for the last 3 years. Let's look at the issues. Let's look at the economic issues. Let's look at how is it that we're paying $10 for eggs, or we're paying over the price for gas. These are the issues. And how did these issues come about? Well, it happened because Joe Biden, day one, came and he cut down the pipelines that Trump had in place, right? So he got rid of that. So therefore, now we're facing inflation. Those are the issues, right? Those are the issues that America is facing, that your Black community is facing, because when they got to go out here and buy all this amount of charges for gas, for food, for eggs, for whatever it is that they're doing to heat their houses, to heat their homes, the gas that they cook with, all of that, right? All of that is the issues. But you don't want to talk about the issues because you're all about the democracy. Man, if you didn't know it, we are a republic.
Is issues, not individuals. Like, when
But
you
why
have...
not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? Mm-hmm. There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear,
Charlamagne Tha God, what's your book called? Get Honest or Die Lying? Well, right there, friend, all you've spewed, nobody has tried to take over the democracy. Nobody has tried to overthrow our democracy. And nobody is trying to destroy this country. Donald J. Trump has tried to preserve the republic. That's what he's done. And so if you're telling the truth, Charlamagne, then you know that Joe Biden is the one who is standing in the way of democracy, because guess what? He muffled his opponents. Mariam Williamson, RFK Jr., all of these people who were trying to run against him, they had to be pushed to the side. What happened then, Charlamagne? Isn't that part of your democracy? He's the one who's really trying to throw over democracy. But you're too dumb and stupid to see that. Get honest or die lying.
And I've seen y'all do this on The View before. I saw y'all do this to Killer Mike when he was on The View, and Killer Mike literally sat here and said, hey, I supported Keisha Lance Bottoms. I supported Ralph Warnock. I supported John Ossoff, right, in Georgia. And he said, you should support the people that I've supported. You should support the person who the people I've supported are supporting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's y'all opportunity to say, well, clearly he's talking about President Biden. Why do y'all need us to say this if we don't feel comfortable saying it?
No, it's not that we need you to say it,
Others
but I think other folks need to hear, because, one of the things I'm sorry, I just jumped you, I'm sorry, but one of the things that we've been talking about is the fact that getting facts out through the media seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yeah.
Yes, but we need you to do it on your show.
Help him out. Help out Joe Biden is what Sonny, the lawyer, says. Help him out. Help him out. And Charlamagne is saying, I've laid out everything that's bad about Trump. So who else am I going to vote for if not Joe Biden? What Trump stands for is way worse than what Joe Biden stands for. Oh, Joe Biden is going to preserve our democracy, and President Trump won't. And so for me, therefore, it's better to preserve our democracy than to preserve our economy, than to save babies from murder, like, little black ones, to have people living a decent life where they're not being robbed left, foot, and center, with crime being the way it is, but our democracy. But it was Joe Biden who took away democracy to the people. Again, Charlamagne, it was Joe Biden who did that. But again, your book says that let's start being honest. But when are you gonna be honest,
Well,
right?
the reality is, I think both candidates are trash. So but I am going to vote in November, and I'm going to vote my best interest, and I'm going to vote who I think, can preserve democracy. So if I think both candidates are trash, and I don't feel like, endorsing one, would you rather me endorse an individual or endorse the fact that, hey, we need to go out here and protect democracy?
And by the way, I think it's incredibly powerful to use your platform just to draw the contrast. I actually tend to agree that I don't think an endorsement is somehow more powerful than reminding folks the other person tried to overturn our democracy. That breaks through. But I want to ask you, because you're kind of one of these, we call them double haters. I don't like to use the phrase, but
Double haters?
Double haters, like not thrilled with Biden or Trump. And
I've never heard of that, like the chicken fried
I called it.
I thought that was just called being an American nowadays. When you look at the polls,
Well,
people don't seem to be too pleased with either one of them.
And I'm right there with you. So you've called this a race between crooks, cowards, and the couch.
That's
and you
right.
say Democrats are losing the messaging game.
But let's be clear about who I say are the crooks. I say Republicans are the crooks. I say Democrats are the cowards. And I say the couch is voter apathy. And I feel like, right now it looks like, voter apathy may win. But whose fault is that? Is that our fault, or is it the candidates?
Well, and I'm curious at this juncture, 6 months out, who do you think wins?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it's a toss-up at this point. I really don't know. I think the person who goes out there and probably energizes their base the best at this point. And, when you look at somebody like President Biden, it feels like his base is pretty pissed off at him for a number of reasons.
Help him out.
Well, no, look, I actually.
Help him out by doing what?
Well, I want to ask you something because when
Seen that, heard that, good. And at least he stood his ground and says, yeah, I'm not going to endorse Joe Biden. At least he did that. At least he sort of did that, because they're really pushing. That Sonny was really pushing. Well, help him out. Well, why don't you just say it on your platform? There goes Whoopi. Why don't you just say it on your platform? We need to get the truth more out there. Well, the truth is out there. And the media has been pushing lies and lies and lies and lies. And you just want him to push more lies on his platform. And everybody that listens to him more than likely will go out here and vote Joe Biden. It's already done, because you, MSNBC, CNN, and all of you are already done it. But this guy is saying, you know what? I'm not going to push that on my audience. I'm not going to tell them, okay, go out here and vote for Joe Biden, even though I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. But I'm going to say I ain't going to endorse him. So you said it. You're going to vote for him. That means you're telling them to vote for him. You're just not going to come out here and put your stamp on it and say, yeah, I'm endorsing Joe Biden. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you sound stupid, man. You're coming out here to say you're not going to endorse him, but yet you're going to vote for him. Like, you're going to vote for the policies that benefits you better. Like, what benefits you better? What benefits Black people better? Nothing that Joe Biden is doing benefits anyone. Not Blacks, not whites, not purple, not green, not yellow, not anybody. Nobody benefits under Joe Biden. Nobody. But you're going to come out here and vote for him because that's going to work for you. His policies work for you. I mean, you're a joke. An absolute, total joke. Big old simpleton joke.
The book is great, by the way.
Thank you very much.
In the book, you also say this. You say we need to have some difficult conversations about hip-hop and how it can be both a positive cultural force and self-destructive. Now, can you explain what you mean by that? And what do you, well, let's start there.
Well, I just think about the influence of hip-hop and, the influence that hip-hop has on culture, the way that we, talk, the way that we walk, the way that we dress, and, just growing up, all the influence that hip-hop had on me. And, I just think that, you have to use that tool of hip-hop, that resource of hip-hop to really, empower people. Like, when I look at guys like, Kendrick Lamar with his last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, or Jay-Z, the 444 album, I think in the future we're gonna look at those albums and say those are two of the most important hip-hop albums of all time because of the topics that they're discussing on there. Like, they're talking about, going to therapy. They're talking about, the infidelity that they did and how they're trying to be better men towards their women, and just, the whole journey of healing. Like, that's what we should be talking about. Like, if you look at the last 50 years of hip-hop, it was almost like we were little boys, and now we're growing into manhood. And in order to continue to have a career, like, you do have to grow up.
Yeah. You do.
And I'm not sure if...
Seen that, heard that, good. What are you talking about, my dude? 50 years, hip-hop has been detrimental to the Black community. It really has. Like, it started out in a good place, but it has gone from good all the way down the barrel. Like, it is not a good thing, because when we look at hip hop, when we look at the self-destruction that comes with this music, when we look and watch these videos, when we see that the way they hate on women, the way they disrespect women, the way they disrespect and hate themselves, like the lyrics of these things, I mean, it is gangster, it is killer. This thing is not good for the culture. It's not good for anybody. It's like literally devil music. Like, that's how I look at it. It's detrimental. We have not had any really, really great hip hop artists, in my opinion and in my view, that really lays out some really great work in reference to the Black community. Like, Jay-Z's work is whatever it is, you know. He's still rapping about things that's irrelevant. You know, these people, their work is really has not been beneficial. When you look at the self-destruction, it has not been beneficial. And then when you look at these young boys in the hood, on the corners, trying to portray these things, they out here clocking guns and doing these things, because why? Because that's what you're talking about in the culture, in the rap industry and in the hip hop industry. So they take that and run with it. It's all about bees and hoes. It's all about, you know, disrespecting the woman. It's all about that. And then they want to say, well, yeah, we call these are queens. No, that's not our queens. And when you have them laid out their privates everywhere, showing their coochies and all that is the culture. All that is the hip hop. So I don't know what you're talking about, friend. We're going to evolve. No, it's been detrimental to the Black community.
I answer this, but what are your thoughts on everything going on with Diddy right now?
I think when it comes to that situation, man, I think we shouldn't focus on the individual. We should focus on the issue. Because I think what happens a lot of times is, you know, because of the celebrity, we get lost in talking about the celebrity and not talking about the actual issue. The issue is domestic violence.
Yep.
The issue is exactly what I just said about, you know, men not going to do the proper work on themselves, and they're dealing with a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and unhealed trauma, and they're projecting that pain and that hurt on the other people. The issue is patriarchy, right? Because as long as you have a system where men feel superior to women and they're dealing with that pain and they're dealing with that hurt, they're going to project that. You know, we're going to continue to project that onto our women. So I think those are the issues that we should be discussing as opposed to talking about the individual. And we tend to do that a lot as a society. We get lost in the celebrity of things as opposed to, okay, what are we here for?
Because it's clickbait.
Yeah.
It's clickbait.
Like, Diddy brings the engagement, but right now, as I'm talking, there's a woman out there getting beat up by a man, right? And she's not going to get no news coverage. Nobody's going to talk about her.
We should say the name of Cassie, the survivor of the domestic violence.
Yes.
Let's talk more about her.
Absolutely.
As well.
Just talk about the issue, Priya. Let's talk about the actual
Yeah.
issue and
Yeah.
not the individual.
When it comes to us, it doesn't seem to be the thing we think, amplified is the right word.
Domestic violence is an issue in this country, and it's an issue around the world. You know, men have been beaten on women. Men beat women up. I mean, it's true, and it happens. And Sean Puffy Diddy Combs beat up on his woman. Now, they're saying, well, yeah, we should be calling out Cassie's name. Say her name, Cassie. Say her name, Cassie. But when we look at it, she stayed in this relationship for whatever reasons, maybe the perks, the benefits of being Miss, you know, Diddy's girlfriend, whatever. But, you know, she stayed in that. And, you know, not to blame women for these things, but a lot of times the women stay in this thing. They stay in this thing. I mean, it's the honest truth. They stay in this thing. And so it's domestic violence, but yet at some point we have to take responsibility. So they're literally saying that they're not even laying responsibility at the doorstep of Sean Puffy Combs, because, you know, we're going to blame it on, you know, the society, the construct of, you know, domestic violence. That's what we're going to blame it on. We're not going to say, oh, he's guilty. We're going to separate the man from, you know, we're going to separate the celebrity from this whole thing. You know, Diddy the man, Diddy the celebrity. We're going to put that to the side, and we're going to focus on this as a social thing. No, it wasn't a social thing that beat this woman up. It was Diddy. Okay, it wasn't a social thing that kicked her around that hotel, the video that everybody's seen. No, it was Diddy, right? He did those things. And this is the big problem with blacks in this community, is that they never want people to take responsibility. They want to always, make up excuses. And that's exactly what they all just sat there and did. Make up excuses for Sean Diddy Combs. That's what they just did. Made up excuses. Okay? He needs to be responsible. He paid that girl because she came out with all kinds of information, and he settled out of court with her. He paid her all that money. So again, we need to be taking responsibility, not hiding it away. Oh, it's not his fault. He's got problems. He's got mental issues. He's got this, he's got that. No, when do we take responsibility? And that's on both of them. She needs to take responsibility for what she's done in this role, and he needs to take responsibility for what he's done to her in this role. And The View and the Black America and America, period, needs to know that responsibility of what happened, that a man needs to become a man and stand up and say, yeah, I done did it. I apologize, but I done did it. He hasn't done that. So you can't come out here making excuses for Sean Puffy Combs, okay? No excuses. I'm sick of always making excuses. Let somebody be responsible for once. So there was some other interesting points that Charlamagne Tha God made on this interview, but we're not going to cover all that because I've had enough of his nonsense. I've had enough of his simpleton thoughts and ways. So we're going to wrap it up here. So thank you guys for joining The Conservative Poet today. And hopefully you enjoyed the program, my thoughts and ideas. Give me in the comments, which one did you think that Charlamagne was a complete and total idiot on? So was it his point of view about Sean Puffy Combs not being responsible for beating up his woman? Or is it that hip hop has been a benefit to the Black community? Or that him knowing that the Biden administration is bad for we the people, but yet he's going to vote for him anyway? So those were the ones. And let me know in the comments which ones you thought was good or not good or whatever. You just let's chat it up there. So thank you again for taking the time, and I will say God bless you and keep you, and I will see you in another video. Charlamagne Tha God! What an idiot.